Wright, Princeton University political scientist. Lauren, good to see you. So how much room is there on the GOP side for the 2024 race for president?
Probably not as much as these candidates would like to admit, especially if they come from the same state of South Carolina. Look, Nikki Haley and Tim Scott, they are unbelievable people. They have amazing personal stories to tell, and they've been successful in public office. Tim Scott just won re-election with 63% of the vote. The problem is that it's a crowded field. They're from the same state, and it gets more and more difficult to distinguish yourself and your message, especially for Nikki Haley, since she was a member of the Trump administration and Trump is running.
Meanwhile, what is Nikki Haley selling? What is Senator Tim Scott selling, and what will GOP voters buy?
So it seems so far they're selling themselves as unity candidates, which is certainly impressive, and it's an appealing message. If they got to the general election, I actually think both these candidates are people who could appeal to moderates very easily. The problem is they need to get past Trump. And so for Nikki Haley, she's running on Trump administration policies, on her foreign policy record as a member of the Trump cabinet, but she's going to have to answer questions about, well, if you're backing up your record during the Trump years, why aren't you simply campaigning for your former boss? She might not have to answer those questions for a while, but eventually she will, whether it takes as long as the debate stage or not.
I want to look at this Reuters Ipsos poll from this week. This is among registered Republicans. Put it up on screen for me. Donald Trump gets 42.8% support. Ron DeSantis, he gets 30.6%. Mike Pence, 7.5%. Nikki Haley with 3.9%. So, Lauren, a year and 9 months from Election Day, a whole lot can happen in that time.
Yep.
Is it too soon to predict who prevails as the GOP frontrunner?
Probably. I think there is room for Trump and one Trump alternative and one only, because the slice of the pie just gets too small and there's too much room to make up from 3 or 5% all the way to a majority of voters. And so, you know, it takes sometimes successful politicians a couple election cycles to run. That's what Mitt Romney had to do in 2008. He was introducing himself to the base. He didn't get the nomination. Then in 2012, he was successful. So maybe some of these candidates were at the earlier part of their political career, but it's just a matter of who has a tremendous head start. And Ron DeSantis does, and Trump does, and there isn't a lot of room for other voices.
A quick 20 seconds here, because the last time Donald Trump ran, he gobbled up like Pac-Man about 15 other people on stage. So if you're telling me that there's room for a Donald Trump candidate and one other, what does that say?
Well, it says that there's a lot of anger and disappointment in the Republican Party with Trump since January 6th. Opinion of him has dropped among all groups of Republican voters since then. And so there's an appetite for an alternative, you know, just probably not 3 or 4, or like you said, Arthel, 15 candidates. That's just too many people, and it'll be rough for the party. It'll be hard.
We will watch. Lauren Wright, you will join us in this, just watching what happens. Princeton University, thank you very much, as always. And by the way,